Before Newport last year, when was the last time you had seen Adelaide Hall?
Oh, I hadn't seen her for a few years because she was living in London. And of course, I haven't been in London for a few years. Although I have been there, I was there with Florence Mills long ago.
You were in London with Florence Mills?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Tell us about Florence Mills in those days.
Florence Mills was a very wonderful person because she had a wonderful disposition. And she could sing and dance. And we went over there the first time was, I don't know, C.B. Cochran, it was for. And we done I don't know how many shows we did there for a long time. And she was a very, very nice person, very nice. Good to work with and nice to associate with.
What did you feel about her as an artist?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. She had so many times to do things, be in that place where she was in London. And then come back to New York and went right to work again.
Do you have any vivid memories of her? You and her, did you ever sing songs together? Or you were, what was the show you were in with her?
Dover Street to Dixie.
Say that again. The show I was in with Florence Mills.
The show I was in with Florence Mills was Dover Street to Dixie. And that was the first time that they'd ever had a show with that combination. And so her and I were the co-stars. And of course, we were working in a plantation to begin with in New York. And she was a very good person to work with. And I had worked with her then for a few years.
And, tell me, say the songs I sang in that show were, what were the songs you sang in that show?
Well, the song that I sang in the show was, let's see which one it was now, but I can't remember now the name of the song. I know that we...
How about humming it? Hum it.
Well, you hum Blackbird because that's what she was doing for us.
Yankee Doodle Blues?
No, Yankee Doodle Blues, yeah. That was a little later on. But the first song that I remember that we were all singing together was Blackbirds. I'm a little blackbird looking for a bluebird too. and we had wonderful singers in that show. And of course, her husband worked in it too, Slow Kid. And not many people were in that show that are still living. Yeah, they passed. Too many. Florence was a wonderful person, and she, when she passed on, why, I was one of the honorary pallbearers, and stood in the hallway just outside the door when they opened the blackbirds, and they flew all around. I think there must have been 70 of them or something like that. And they flew all around as they were taking her to bury her. So that I thought was interesting because, she had worked so hard. Well, her and I were friends before this started. And of course, we remained until she passed on.
What were some of the things people worked at, George, to develop their craft?
And you came from Louisville, Kentucky, right?
That's right.
I was there yesterday. I flew out of Louisville. Um,
That's
when did you first find out that you were a singer or wanted to be a singer?
Well, I want you to know that I started off when I was 2 years old. And the reason I say that is I started singing around the house then. And my mother said, "Where'd you learn that?" And said, "Miss So-and-so next door, she sings it," I say. And so I was singing a great number of songs by the time I was 10 years old. And when I was 12 years old, I slipped off and went to a place that's having a show to see if I could get a job in the show. And I slipped off, and I was afraid to tell my mother because she didn't want me to go into show business, you know. And so I didn't tell her. I waited till she went to bed, and then I slipped off, went to the place, and sang my little song. And one of them was that song, "What Did You Do, America?" You got excited and you started something, the nation's jumping all around. That's what I was singing. You got a lot to answer for, and we lay the blame right at your door. So that's what I sang. I started off, as you say, my mother didn't know where I got the song, and I don't know either. So, she said I'd come through just singing this song, whatever it was, and she said, "Where did she learn this?" I said, "I don't know. She plays out there in the street with the rest of the kids, and they liable to sing anything." So she jumps in with them and sings it. So I really started very young.
Tell us about some of the people you listened to in those days that sort of directed you.
Well, I had people to direct me that were in show business already, and they were three brothers. And I used to go over to their house and sit on the steps and listen to them have rehearsal because they had people in the show. And I listened to them rehearsing and learn the songs from them. Then when I get home, why, I would be walking through the house singing a song. My mother wouldn't know where did I get that. You know? But that's one of the songs oh, I forget what the name of it is now, but I know some little song I used to sing, "Jesus is the light in the world," or something like that. And
That was a gospel or a hymn?
gospel song, see. And I heard them singing it because I go to church too, you know. With the kids, we all go to church. And the choir would sing this, and I'd pick up a lot of things. And then by going over to these boys' house to see their sister, and they were two brothers, and one played the piano and the other one sang. So when they had rehearsals, I'd go sit on their steps until they finished, and then I'd learn what they were singing about, and then I would sing it.
When did you first meet John Bubbles? Say, I met John Bubbles.
I met John Bubbles uh, in Louisville. As I say, I was young, and he said to every time we'd be teasing me and running, said my mother braided my hair so tight it squeezed snot out of my nose. And so he used to make me so mad and teased me, you know. And he was in Louisville at that time. Then after that, I didn't see him after I left Louisville and went to Chicago and stayed with my aunt until my mother moved over there in Chicago. So been in and out of Chicago ever since I was a little girl. I used to sit on these brothers that had the show. I sat on their steps because they had a sister, and I played the sister, and that's the way I learned the song. What did you do, America? Thereafter, you, America. You got excited and you started something. Nations jumping all around. That's the song I learned from them. And my mother said, "Where'd she get that?"
Now, you were in a show, Hot Chocolates.
Hot
With
chocolates.
Fats and Louie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they advertise us as 1,000 Pounds of Harmony. The three of us, me and Louis and Fats had number together.
Oh, the 1,000 Pounds of Harmony were you and Louis and Fats?
Fats, mm-hmm.
Ah, I never knew that.
Yeah,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Say that, say, I was in a show with Fats and Louis.
I was in the show with Fats Waller and Louis Armstrong, and we sang together, and they said we were advertised as 1,000 Pounds of Harmony. All of us were fat at that time.
Did you learn anything from Fats and Louis?
Oh, yes. They were great to learn things from. If they happened to like you, why, then they waste a lot of time with you, and which they did with me. I sang songs that each one of them had sang or were singing at that
What was the
time.
song you sang with them?
Oh, wait, let me see.
My man is good for nothing but love.
Is that what I sang?
Yep.
My man ain't good for nothing but love. That's right. Never thinks of nothing but love. His arms, they fit me just like a glove. Never was nothing but love. Yeah. His lips are noted, they're sugar coated, so sweet they take my breath. And when he holds me, squeezes and folds me, feels like he'll love me to death. That's what I sang.
Let me ask you about the song Black and Blue that you sing in the show. Can you sing the verse to Black and Blue now for us?
You're out in the street, shuffling feet, couples passing two by two. While here am I, left high and dry, black, and 'cause I'm black, I'm blue. Browns and yellows all have fellas, gentlemen prefer them light. Wish I could fade, can't make the grade, nothing but dark days in sight. Cold empty bed, spring's hard as lead, pains in my head, feel like old Ned. What did I do to be so black and blue? I forget who he was, but anyhow, it was a owner that wanted to put a show in with the girls and all, and me, no. But I hadn't had any time. I said something else I had with Florence. I can't remember now exactly what it was. I was singing with her. But, you know, I would have a song, maybe one from the boys and Fats and Louis and all. And
No, but I mean the lyrics to that song, the story of that.
all the story.
You know, did that have any significance to your meaning to you as you sing that song?
Oh, yes, it does. I think about it all the time because, well, I was the first one to sing a song of that type, you know, I think, Florence and I. And when she used to sing, I'm a little blackbird. And then when she died, I stood outside when they turned loose the blackbirds that they let go fly in honor of her. And of course, the band, Bill Vodri's band, they had this tune because Florence had been singing it. Then of course they played that on the day that they buried her.
Want to hear it all back, George?
Yeah, let's, well, is the tape in there? No. You haven't got the camera.
We're all set. That's about good.
Well, I wanted to get her to say something about those, I want to get you to say something about what those lyrics mean to you as a person, not in reference to show business. In other words, do those lyrics, the fact that that's a light-skinned brown girl will always do better than a dark-skinned brown girl, does that have any meaning to you?
It didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't. To me, it was just some lyrics that was written to get enough time in. I mean, at that time, that's how I felt about it.
Well, say that then. You know, say that. Say The lyrics to that song tell a story, and then say, but that
But
doesn't.
not a story that I was interested in.
Okay, have you guys got the camera on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've had it on.
Yeah, let's start it
Oh,
over.
start off, the lyrics to that song.
Cold, empty bed.
No.
No.
Say,
Change
say, the lyrics to that song had a meaning, but not to me, whatever you want to say about
Oh,
that. Start with that statement.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
The words to that song may have a meaning to somebody else, but they had no particular meaning to me. Just a matter of something for Florence to sing. And I had something else to sing. So, I didn't pay any mind to it. Afterward, people would say to me, something, do you sing the song Florence used to sing? I said, oh, no, there wasn't no need to sing it. She had finished it.
Ethel Waters, say something about Ethel Waters.
Ethel Waters. Well, Ethel was a person that I think that if you liked her or you didn't. But she happens to like you, well then you take up with her, because otherwise she'd go on about her business, not pay you any mind. Some people like that, that they can go on about their business and don't matter what happens to you. They're gone,
Did you learn anything from her?
Yeah, I learned how to do what you're going to do regardless of what she's going to do. Because, sometimes people resent the fact that you're going to sing the same song they're going to sing. Of course, they say she was very temperamental about that, but I never worked directly with her, so that I never found that she was. So I just know that, I would know her and speak to her and go on and all that. And I never was, because both of us were the same kind of singers. We wasn't booked on the same bill, rarely ever.
Duke Ellington.
I worked with Duke for a long time up the Cotton Club. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much because all the boys in the band were nice and cooperative, I come in with the lead sheet or something, somebody in there will grab it and do it over for me. So they were very nice to me. And I met Duke first in Washington, D.C. He had that band that he brought to New York, the trio. Well, then I knew him then, knew his father in Washington, D.C. It was great to know him. He was a very nice person. And looked like all those people were dying out suddenly.
Not so suddenly.
Well,
Bob, you have a question you want to ask?
Maybe just ask about Yubi. Work with Yubi.
What did Yubi Blake? Let's talk about Yubi Blake.
Yubi played the piano all the time. He started learning back in Baltimore. And I worked with Yubi quite a lot. I worked with a lot of them, just like I worked with Fats Waller there. When I sing that song, My Man Ain't Good for Nothing But Love, with Fats.
Has Yubi changed over the years?
And Yubi came over. I started with Yubi. It was later. The rest of them fellows were all ahead of Yubi. Yubi, he's been playing more in the last 10 years than he had before, But he was good, very good to work with. Yubi was, too. I've been fortunate to work with people that were worth working with, So I worked, no end of people going out of town and away at the time. You do so much in New York and then you go away.